Just consider the different kinds of treatment. So thousands and thousands of people gather in Brooklyn. Totally fine. They're all packed in really tight, no big deal. Meanwhile, President Trump decides he's going to reopen his rallies. So he says, hey, I'm going to have a new rally, coming up in the next few days. The media furious. This is the headline from NBC News. Extraordinarily dangerous. Trump rally draws grave concerns from top health officials. Now, 1 hour before NBC News tweeted this out, they tweeted out a generally approving tweet about the Brooklyn demonstrations. Thousands gather in Brooklyn. For trans lives, supporting a good cause. Then 1 hour later, Trump rally draws grave concerns from top health officials. No, it doesn't. It draws grave concerns from leftist politicians and their hacks in the scientific establishment and the media establishment. Trump should absolutely hold his rally. They've lost their credibility at this point, the left and the media. They can't do it. They turn coronavirus on and off completely at whim, willy-nilly. They've turned it on and off probably 3 times in the last week. No more. I'm sorry. We can't believe what they say. I wish we could believe what they say, but we can't. They've proven themselves to be liars, and so I guess we're on our own. Trump should definitely go ahead with the rally. There is a problem, though. There's something I've got to ding the president for. I think he's undercutting his own argument. So Trump initially was going to hold this rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma on Juneteenth. For those of you not familiar with Juneteenth, that's June 19th. It's the day that slaves were liberated in Texas. Trump is going to hold the rally that day. Then he decides, no, there's an outcry. You can't hold the rally in Juneteenth, and you can't hold it in Tulsa, where there have been racial tensions before. You got to move the day. I was hoping Trump would stand firm, saying, no way am I moving the day. But he moved it. He tweeted out, quote, we had previously scheduled our MAGA rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma for June 19th, a big deal. Unfortunately, however, this would fall on the Juneteenth holiday. Many of my African-American friends and supporters have reached out to suggest that we consider changing the date out of respect for this holiday and in observance of this important occasion and all that it represents. I've therefore decided to move our rally to Saturday, June 20th in order to honor their requests. We've already had ticket requests in excess of 200,000 people. I look forward to seeing everyone in Oklahoma. It's weak sauce, man. I love the president. I'm a big supporter. This was a very bad decision to move the date. Not just a little bad, very bad. Why? Juneteenth is the day that the Republican Party freed the slaves in Texas. Okay, the party that the president now represents. President Trump has made helping out the black community a big part of his presidential administration, right? Lowest African-American unemployment ever. And he's touted those kinds of statistics. Actually, he passed criminal justice reform, meaning letting people out of prison, in large part to show that he cares about the black community. I thought that messaging was misguided, but that was the point at least. And now he's saying, no, I can't possibly hold a rally on Juneteenth. He's giving the left the premise. He's saying to the left initially says, Trump, you can't hold a rally because you're a racist and you hate black people, and it's disrespectful for you to hold a rally on a day that celebrates freeing the slaves. And he said, yeah, I guess you're right. They're not right. Their premise is wrong. If anybody should hold a rally on Juneteenth, it should be the Republican president. There's no evidence that he's a bigot at all. There's a lot of evidence to the contrary. And yet he gave them their argument. I get it. There's a lot of pressure on him. I can't even imagine the pressure that the president's facing right now, but you can't give in. You can't give in one little bit. That's the point. You can't give in one little bit on the police. You can't give in one little bit on the funding. You can't give in one little bit on the ridiculous racial narrative from the left, because when you give them just a little bit, you open the floodgates, you open the dam breaks, and you get riots and looting and racial division and discord, and we're seeing it all around us. Now, Trump is being knocked unfairly, I think, for many other things as well. So he's being knocked fairly for the Juneteenth issue. He's being knocked, and for specifically for changing the date. He's being knocked unfairly, though, for a bunch of other nonsense. And it probably gets to him after a while. President Trump was giving a speech over the weekend, and he walked down a ramp. And he walked down a ramp, I don't know, like a little bit slowly or something, and the left is having a field day. I think that one's going to flip back on them. It's going to hurt them in the long run. So fair knock on Trump, total unfair knock on Trump. He's being criticized for how he walked down the ramp. Take a listen to this. So, okay, Trump he's finished his speech. and he's walking sort of fine. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a ramp. It's not like there are stairs. He seems to be a little bit slower than normally he would walk, but obviously he doesn't want to trip and fall. The left would have a field day with that. Then he comes to the bottom, has a little step at the end, and he's looking fine. That's it. And the left is saying he looks like a doddering old idiot or something. If the left is going to try this line of attack against President Trump when their nominee is Joe Biden, that's not going to work out very well for them. I think that by comparison, as President Trump told us just a few months ago, Trump looks like a young, vibrant man.
Well, I think that I just feel like a young man. I'm so young. I can't believe it. I'm the youngest person. I am a young, vibrant man. I look at Joe. I don't know about him. I don't know. He's too old. I would never say anyone's too old, but I know they're all making me look very young, both in terms of age and I think in terms of energy. I think you people know that better than anybody, yeah.
A young, vibrant man, and that is how he looks. You know, Joe Biden was just giving a speech, and I guess it was sort of a panel, you know, I don't even know. Maybe it was trying to be a speech. It certainly didn't come off as a particularly rousing speech. And Biden is sitting there with one of the face masks dangling off of his ear. It's not on both ears, it's not covering his mouth, it's not on the table, it's just dangling off of one of his ears while he tries to stammer his way through an English sentence.
You know, the rapidly rising I don't know.
Not looking good. That's just a little 11-second clip. The whole speech is more or less of the same energy level and the same coherence. I'm not even going to, well, look, we know that Joe can't form an English sentence. I'm not even going to focus on that. I do want to focus on the mask, though, because what the mask shows us here is that the mask is not primarily a medical tool for preventing the spread of a virus. It is primarily a political symbol. Obviously, dangling from the ear, the mask is not going to do anything to prevent the spread of the virus. His nose is exposed, his mouth is exposed. So why doesn't Joe either put it all the way over his mouth or put it on the table? Because the mask doesn't really seem to do very much. At least the people wearing it like this don't think it does very much medically. But it signals to you that he's a good person. He's on the left. He's taking the virus very seriously, except when it involves racial riots. Then the virus doesn't exist anymore. It's merely a signal to people of what side of the political aisle he is on. And we've been making that point on this show for weeks now, and the left has been attacking and saying that's outrageous, that's crazy. Well, there's your evidence. There's your evidence right there. He is wearing it in such a way that it cannot possibly do the thing that he's saying it does. But he's got to have it there anyway to signal who he is. Thank you for tuning into the Daily Wire, one of the fastest growing conservative media outlets in the country. If you enjoyed this video, and really, even if you didn't, please be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our content.